Murray says that the singer retreated to his other private bedchamber.
You know, there were several times he would walk away from me and go to the other room. And to me, that was a break. That was a break. Because the longer he stayed away, the less I had to deal with the fact that I couldn't get him to sleep. After he begged and pleaded, I said, you know what? If I give him just a tiny amount of propofol, 25 milligrams, slowly infused, I may just tip him into sleep. And the other medications may now get a chance to work because he had a fair amount of medication on board. And the medications he had on board, I even told him before we got to that point, Michael, I can put an elephant to sleep. You are not, this is not normal. It's not normal. He fell asleep. I was very pleased.
It was 10:50 in the morning. Murray says he then watched over Jackson for 25 minutes. The effects of 25 milligrams of propofol wear off in about 10 minutes. At 11:15 a.m., Murray began making phone calls.
No, it was not unusual for me to make calls or return calls during the morning hours while he was still asleep. It wasn't unusual.
His last call was to Sade, a waitress he had met recently. He never completed that call.
I said hello, hello, and I didn't hear anything. And that's when I pressed the phone against my ear and I heard mumbling of voices. It sounded like the phone was maybe in his pocket or something. It was shh.
Murray discovered Jackson unconscious.
He was not breathing. So my concern was, has those agents, the Valium, the Ativan, the Versed, acting in concert, has now overwhelmed him once he went to sleep. Not 25 milligrams of propofol.
Instead of calling 911, Murray attempted to revive Jackson. No one heard his shouts for assistance. He called Michael Amir, Jackson's head of security. No answer. He ran to get help.
I saw Dr. Murray come down the stairs into the kitchen in a panic, in a frantic.
What did he shout?
Get help, get security, get Prince.
The first security guy that showed up finally when he realized there's an emergency comes to the door, and his name is Alberto Alvarez. He got to the door and he remained static.
I was reaching for my phone in my pocket, and as I was doing that, Prince and Paris came behind me. Paris screamed out, "Daddy."
And I told security to get the kids away from there. Get the kids away from them because I did not want them to see their father getting CPR or having such a resuscitative event.
Dr. Conrad Murray said, "Don't let them see their dad like this." And I proceeded to turn around to the children and kind of ushered them out and said, kids, don't worry, we'll take care of it. Everything is going to be okay.
And he says, "Oh, doctor, what happened? I need help. I am doing CPR. Mr. Jackson's not breathing. Come in here. Get me help. Call 911. I need you to call 911.
We have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we're trying to pump him, but he's not okay.
In addition to me doing CPR, chest compression, and trying to resuscitate this patient, I'm controlling him on the 911 call. How old is this patient? 50.
We have a personal doctor here with him, sir.
Oh, you have a doctor there?
Yes, but he's not responding to anything. No, he's not responding to CPR or anything, sir.
Oh, okay.
I said, tell them where we are and get the fuck over here. Get here, I need you, the car. Come on. Help me.
And, sir, you just, If you can please.
We're on our way. We're on our way. I'm just passing these questions on to my paramedics while they're on the way there, sir.
Thank you, sir. He's pumping his chest, but he's not responding to anything, sir. Please.
Okay. We're on our way.
When the paramedics arrived, Michael Jackson was dead. In May 2010, Murray's Las Vegas home was repossessed. He hasn't worked in months. Even before the guilty verdict, Dr. Murray had started to reevaluate his relationship with Michael Jackson.
I do not think that he would have had an active intention to do me harm. But I think through his most intense desire to have me there with him, it was intertwined with a degree of betrayal.
Michael Jackson's death stunned the world.
We understand that pop star Michael Jackson apparently suffered a heart attack at his home in Holmby Hills right after about 12:30.
Confirmation tonight, pop superstar Michael Jackson has died at the age of 50.
7 different prescription medicines were found in his body. An overdose of propofol and lorazepam killed Michael. Over the course of the 6-week trial, the prosecution have made a compelling case against Dr. Murray. Their argument goes much wider than the cause of the overdose. They also argue that Dr. Murray criminally violated his professional duty of care to Michael Jackson. Not calling 911 immediately is a case in point.
Conrad Murray actually called someone else, left a message, and made no indication that 911 was required.
I almost don't know what to say. That is so completely and utterly inexcusable.
I've never been in a situation where I was alone, trying to do all of these things with no help in sight, in such an odd situation where I couldn't shout for help. I didn't have a phone there to call for help, and the only one phone access I had was Michael Mayer, who was his head of security, right? As a cardiologist, what did I need to do? I am not a lay person, I'm trained. If I say a man is down and I'm on the scene, I will resuscitate you.
If somebody in the house, not just you, but somebody in the house who called 911.
If you call 911, you've done the right thing. If you've got an expert doctor in the house and he can do what they're going to do when they get there first, calling 911 is a delay. And
again, no reason to call 111 unless he had continued to persistently remain impaired or so, right? However, if he came out of it and he was fine, he and I would have had to have a serious talk, and I would have taken my bags and said, you know what? If you allow that to happen, when I'm anywhere in the vicinity of your environment, I'm gone. That would have been my exit.
He was so...
That was going to be my exit. You understand me? Because there's no discussion he could have had with me that day to compensate for the unexpected change if it was as a result of his own hands. I went there to take care of a healthy man who said he was fine, to just keep surveillance in case my kids get sick or I get the flu, help us to choose the right better foods and wash our hands so we don't get infected. But once I got in there, I was entrapped. Okay? Go ahead, enjoy. Yeah.
With the trial drawing to a close, Dr. Schaefer is proving to be the prosecution's most compelling witness.
Dr. Schaefer, you've very clearly described 17 egregious violations of the standard of care. These 17 violations individually were likely to result in injury or death to Michael Jackson.
Yes.
The defense have their own expert witness, Dr. White. But after Schaefer's devastating testimony, they can't agree on the best strategy.
Guys, what about standard of care? Because standard of care is not the best care possible.
We can't get into that battle. We start arguing whether or not it was standard of care was correct or not.
Okay.
The jury thinks Dr. Murray is a deaf doctor.
Well, he's presented Dr. Murray as a non-doctor, less than a layperson.
And I think the jury believes all that.
Yeah.
We have to bring him back to the issue of causation.
You got to get it to be a cardiac arrest that starts this thing. Otherwise, you lose mathematically.
Do you really honestly think that during cross-examination of Schaefer, he's going to admit that it's a cardiac arrest, and we're going to have that argument, that conversation?
No, I think he's got to admit he doesn't know because he has never studied the effects of that.
And as soon as I ask him, isn't it true you don't know, he's going to say, I do know, and here's why I know. Here's this, and this. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to get into science with this guy. That's what we have scientists for.
No.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you about methodology, Mike.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
I'm not going to have an argument with the guy on the science.
No, fuck you.
I'm not going to do it, Mike. You want to spend 3 hours doing that? Go ahead.
No. You don't see the issue.
Gotcha.
He's got it all mathed out for you, and you're missing it.
All right. See you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Walgren, thank you. At this time, cross-examination by the defense. Mr. Chernoff?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Schaefer, good afternoon.
The dispute over strategy led to Ed Chernoff taking over the vital cross-examination of Dr. Schaefer from Michael Flanagan.
One of the things that you were asked your opinion about that you testified to yesterday were the actual IV setup, infusion, how Michael Jackson received the propofol that was in his body. You do understand the difference between opinion and fact, don't you? Do you?
I'll sustain the objection. You may
You understand that everything you said in the last 2 days was your opinion. You do understand that, right? Do you understand that?
It might be the opinion that I have as a physician, but I believe it's that's an interesting question.
Following his decision to cross-examine Dr. Schaefer, Chernoff moved out of Flanagan's house.
My theory with experts is you don't cross experts in their area of expertise. You're asking for trouble. You're not going to be smarter than the expert. And Flanagan disagrees with that theory, but it's important enough for me, and that's why I took it over. You know, I'm fighting the judge anyway, fighting the prosecution anyway. I'm hoping that it'll all pan out, but shit, it may not.
He killed Michael Jackson. Killed I will whip your ass and go to jail.
They want you to convict Dr. Murray for the actions of Michael Jackson.
Poor Conrad Murray. Everyone is to blame but Conrad Murray. This type of medical care has never been seen. This was a pharmaceutical experiment. Justice demands a guilty verdict.